Hi, boys and girls and boys. I'm very lucky to be here today. I was asked to read to some children. So, to begin with, my name is Marlene Coles. I'm originally from upstate New York, Troy, a small town called Troy, about the same size as Ypsilanti. And I went to school 15 and school 16, schools with boring names, in Troy. Graduated from Troy High School, and then ultimately came to Michigan and got my bachelor's degree, a four-year degree, from Eastern Michigan University. At Eastern, I majored in economics, a subject that allows you to look at how people go about making things happen in the economy, how people get money to buy homes, start businesses, run companies, finance schools. It's about money at all levels. So that's what I studied. And then I went on to the University of Michigan because I thought I was going to spend the rest of my working life running a university or helping people run a university or college. So I studied higher education at Michigan and got a PhD, a doctorate, which is the last degree you can get, I guess. Maybe you can go on to med school after that, I don't know. But so I have a PhD. But the most important job I've ever had, and I've had a lot of jobs, you'll have a lot of jobs too, fun ones I hope. The most important job I've ever had was working last year at Ford Elementary School as a building substitute, where I met some amazing, smart, and very interesting children. And I met some fantastic teachers. The kinds of things I like to do for fun are play tennis, salsa dance, ballroom dance, travel, spend time with my children, my friends, and other members of my family, and read. I read a lot. My brothers and sisters teased me and called me a bookworm because, like the hungry caterpillar, that's how I read books, a lot of books. And today the book I'm reading is an important book because everything I've done with my life has been because I persisted. I never gave up. And this book is about 13 other girls who persisted also. And I want to get started with their stories because these people changed our lives. Again, the title of my book is She Persisted. It was written by Chelsea Clinton. Sometimes being a girl isn't easy. At some point, someone may tell you your dreams are impossible. Don't listen to them. These 13 American girls didn't listen. What they did was they persisted. That means they never gave up. They kept working at whatever it was they wanted to do until they got it done. Harriet Tubman was born a slave, but her story doesn't end there. She persisted, escaping from slavery and leading her family and her friends and even strangers sometimes to freedom. Once Helen Keller became deaf and blind and couldn't speak, a few people thought she'd never be able to read, write, or speak. But she persisted, and she learned how to do all of those things, read, write, and speak. And she used her story to create more opportunities for people with disabilities all over the world. That's Helen and her teacher, the woman who taught her to read, write, and speak. After her family fled the Ukraine, which is a country on the other side of the world, fled her country in the Ukraine, Clara Lemick came to New York City, her new home. She got a job working in a factory with terrible conditions. What that means is that place was dirty and dangerous, and she wasn't safe. But Clara persisted and helped secure better conditions for her fellow factory workers and thousands of other workers. Here's Clara encouraging her fellow co-workers to go on strike. And to go on strike means you tell your bosses you're not coming to work to help them make their products and services, the things they make, furniture, toys, shoes. You're not going to help until they improve conditions. So Clara helped her fellow workers win that battle, and conditions improved. Things became more safe, and I hope the bosses became nicer. Nellie Bly. Nellie Bly was determined to become a reporter, a newspaper or magazine reporter, even though some men said it wasn't something women could do. At times, she put her safety at risk while she was doing her job, but she persisted throughout her career in exposing how badly people were being treated. There's Nellie at the podium, somewhere around the world, because she traveled all over the world to tell these stories. From an early age, Virginia Apgar was determined to be a doctor. She persisted in creating something called the Apgar score to test a newborn baby's health, which hospitals all over the world still use today. And I bet if you were born in a hospital in Ypsilanti or Ann Arbor, you were given the Apgar test. Here's Dr. Apgar with her patient. Maria Tallchief. Maria Tallchief was teased in school for her Native American heritage and later told to change her name to something that sounded Russian. The most famous ballerinas in the world at the time were Russian. She persisted. She ignored the taunting, the mean things people said to her, and ignored the bad advice. She became the first great American prima ballerina, known all over the world. And I'm sure because of what she persisted in doing, other Native American girls now follow in her footsteps. Claudette. As a 15-year-old African-American girl, Claudette Colvin was expected to give up her seat on the bus to a white woman. In her refusal to get up, she persisted in taking a stand for what's right, inspiring others, including Rosa Parks, to stay seated for equal rights and justice. And this is what Claudette had to say. I knew then what I know now, that when it comes to justice, there's no easy way to get it. You can't sugarcoat it. You have to take a stand and say, this is not right. Say what you believe is basically what she said. When Ruby Bridges was in kindergarten, many schools still refused African American students their equal right to an education. She had to walk through protesters to get to school. Protesters were grown, mean adults. But she persisted, integrating an all-white school, all-white elementary school in New Orleans. And today, African American students can go to school anywhere they want, in almost any part of the country they want. As the first American woman to serve as both a U.S. representative in Congress and a U.S. senator, senators and congressmen, representatives, they're the people who run this country. They work with the president. Well, Margaret Chase Smith, could have let that be her legacy. That was all she needed to do to have a successful life and be famous. But instead, Margaret persisted in championing and supporting women's rights, standing up for free speech, and supporting space exploration. There's Margaret doing her job, the only woman in the room. Sally Ride, probably thanks to Margaret, always believed that women could succeed in math and science. She persisted and became the first American woman in space, and then created programs to help generations of women to achieve their dreams. So since Sally went into space, African American women and other women have gone into space following in her footsteps. Thank you, Sally. And Oprah Winfrey. I know you've heard this name. Your mom, your dad, your aunts, your uncles, your grandma, everybody knows who she is. Well, Oprah's grandmother expected Oprah to become a maid. Oprah knew that her dreams would take her somewhere else. She persisted and became a media superstar, superstar, hosting the highest rated talk show ever, the most famous talk show ever. And Oprah continues to be successful and a very important person and very powerful. Oprah as a little girl, Oprah as a grown-up. This is what Oprah said. She said the biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. Thank you, Oprah. Sonia Sotomayor. There's Sonia as a little girl, Sonia as a grown-up. Watching fictional judges on television inspired Sonia Sotomayor. Judges. Judges are the people everyone goes to solve problems, to settle disagreements, and if you misbehave, they discipline you. So this is a very important job. Sonia wanted to be a real-life judge. She persisted, eventually becoming a Supreme Court justice. The Supreme Court is the most important court in the United States. As the first ever Latin woman to sit on America's highest court, she has led the way for other women and Latina women to follow her. So, oops, I forgot my last page. Thank you for your patience. So if anyone ever tells you no, if anyone ever says your voice isn't important or your dreams are too big, remember these women: Sonia, Harriet, Claudette, Ruby, Oprah, Helen. Remember these women. They never gave up. They persisted, and so should you. Thank you.